The Bengals are 4-6. They lose a heartbreaker on Thursday night to the Ravens. It's time for our winners and our losers. And boy, oh boy, were there winners and losers. We'll get to that right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Make sure you check out our live conversation that Andrew Fox Miller and I had, where we have reached the double-digit thousands. You were awesome in the live chat. If you missed it, I think a lot of people will enjoy what we discussed. And it was a lot of officials and Zach Taylor and decision-making and defense and so much more. Some of the things that I will highlight here. By the way, this video is brought to you by Data Guru. Go to sportsdataguru.com, sign up for a free trial, and thank me later. Every person on the planet that wagers on NFL games should go to sportsdataguru.com right now and sign up for their free trial. Try it out. Thank me later. Let's dive into our winners and losers. And we're going to start with the winners like we do every week. And the winners are pretty darn obvious, aren't they? It's Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase. And for my article for BengalsTalk.com, I mentioned Tanner Hudson, so I'll give him an honorable mention. But Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, they're insane. They're insane. They're who was it? Ryan Fitzpatrick called Joe Burrow a serial killer earlier this week because of the way he acted after the Raiders game. You have to be. You have to be that way mentally for Joe to play the way he did. 34 of 56, 428 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he got hit on virtually every play. The official game book had 13 quarterback hits for the Ravens. Burrow was sacked 3 times, so that's at least 16 hits. But it was more than that. And he was pressured on over half of his dropbacks. If you look at the advanced metrics, Joe Burrow just kept getting up and kept dragging this team in this offense that lacks playmakers. And they do. Like at the deadline, I'm like, well, it would be nice to add another weapon. They need one. They desperately need one because it's Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and who else? It's really what it was on Thursday night. Joe Burrow was unbelievable, just unbelievable. And so was Ja'Marr Chase. 11 catches, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, all 3 touchdowns coming in the second half. A 67-yarder on their first possession of the third quarter, a 70-yarder when it's 28-21 and the Bengals are just reeling to keep them in the game. And then what was possibly the game winner, a 5-yard touchdown with 37 seconds to go. Ja'Marr Chase is the best receiver in the NFL. And so these are the 2 winners this week. I know it doesn't feel great. The Bengals are 4-6, but my God, Joe and Ja'Marr are unbelievable. Now let's get to the losers. And this is the element I look at my list for BengalsTalk.com, and it's probably short for there, but I'm going to elaborate on it here. And first one's first. I think that this second half defense that the Bengals put out there really showed why they should have traded for a Baron Browning or Josh Uche or insert whatever pass rusher that you think could have helped them. They needed someone to get some heat. And every single member of the Bengals defense is a loser today. And I'll say it again. Every single member. It doesn't mean that there weren't great plays made. Like Mike Hilton made multiple plays in my head that I remember, and I'm like, man, that was a great play. BJ Hill made some really great plays. McKinley Jackson, I thought, made a couple nice plays. Logan Wilson made a nice play on Derrick Henry. But in the second half, when Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have seized momentum and they're going up and down the field and they're scoring or en route in the process of scoring 4 straight touchdowns, someone needs to step up and make a stop. Someone needs to step up and say, nope, not happening today. Cam Taylor-Britt had multiple opportunities, including an interception opportunity that he dropped. You're a loser today for that one. Cam Taylor-Britt, Logan Wilson, and Geno Stone had the worst tackling play in NFL history with Tylan Wallace. Anyone watching could have made this play. None of them did. I'm not sure Geno Stone even touched Tylan Wallace. I think he just did one of these where he wrapped his arms around where Tylan Wallace was standing at, AKA running. Can't happen. Trey Hendrickson, a lot of people, including Joe Burrow, by the way, after the game saying, yeah, it is kind of wild how me, Ja'Marr, and Trey are playing and our record is what it is. No, Trey, you're not included in this. Oh, well, he leads the league in sacks. And yeah, okay, so he got 4 sacks against some backups from the Raiders. The Bengals needed Trey Hendrickson to dominate last night, to make a play or two in a one-on-one situation last night. Thursday night football, Ronnie Stanley, I get it. It's tough. It's hard to beat Ronnie Stanley. Win and get Lamar Jackson on the ground. Trey Hendrickson, right there with this Bengals defense being a loser. All of them. You could add Sam Hubbard to the list, Logan Wilson to the list, Jermaine Pratt to the list, all of them. And I know they played well early. I get it. They did. They forced 5 punts. They were getting off the field. I get it. But when the game is on the line, what do you do? What do you do? And there were 2 guys that showed up, 2 guys that were consistent, 2 guys that did everything in their being, in their power to will this Bengals team to victory, and that was Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and that's why they're the only 2 winners today. Bengals defense leads off the losers, and it's not just their second half defense and the joke that it was. Bengals offensive line in the loser category. I mentioned it. Joe Burrow pressured on half of his dropbacks. I know it's hard. I know it's hard pass protecting. I know it sucks. You're a passing team, and putting the ball in Nine's hands is better than any other thing you can do because it's not like you're a great run blocking team. So pass protect. Keep Joe Burrow upright. Hold up. And they really didn't. Joe made them look good, moving around in the pocket, stepping up, going off script. And Joe does wonders for the offensive line. But when you go off script like that and you're moving and you're scrambling, you take hits and hits and hits and hits. So this offensive line in the loser category today. And there's more. It's such a long list. And Zach Taylor and Lou Anarumo, you're in the loser category too. And it's twofold. People are critical of Zach for a bunch of different reasons. I'm critical because they had 2 fourth quarter possessions where they didn't get points that ended in Ravens territory. And you need at least 3 points in that scenario. In one of them. On one of those possessions, you need at least 3 points. The Ravens are rallying. At one point, it was 21-14. The Bengals had the ball at the Ravens' 34-yard line. They have a 6-yard loss, 6-yard sack, so it's 2nd and 16 from the 40. And incomplete. And then they go for the first down, incomplete, have to punt it. The Tylan Wallace play happened 2 plays later. And it's like, man, get 6 yards on 2nd and 16. Or 3 yards on 2nd and 16, and then throw for 6 yards on 3rd and 13 and get into field goal range. And they didn't. So they come up empty there. And then on their next possession, they get the ball to the 34-yard line and go for it on 4th and 2. No points there. Everyone's talking about the deep ball. I just need points. Points are what win games. And sometimes settling for a field goal is okay. Sometimes it is. And so to come up with 0 on both of those possessions, when you, at minimum, you need at least 3 total. So maybe you get 3 the first time, and then you're okay with going for it on 4th and 2. Or you don't get 3, you have to punt it. So then on 4th and 2, you decide to take the 51-yard field goal. You need some kind of points there. So Zach Taylor, you're a loser today for that. Not for going for 2. I agree with going for 2. I agree with a lot of the aggressiveness at the beginning of the game. Makes sense. I hate the idea of not getting points on those 2 drives. It's what cost the Bengals the game on offense. And then Lou Anarumo, why are you a loser? It's pretty simple. It's the same tackling issues. It's the same lack of playmaking. It's the same defense that can't – it seems like they just can't touch Lamar. Like they get close to Lamar Jackson and there's a force field. It's like this microphone. It's just like, I can't touch it. Someone run through him once. Run through him, please. And I get it. It's tough. It's really hard. Other teams sack Lamar Jackson. The Bengals, it's impossible to do that. It's just impossible. Even if you're Trey Hendrickson, impossible. Can't happen. Can't happen. And our final loser is the officials. And I really let the officials have it in our post game live. So please watch that. I literally from the jump. Because games like that where Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, these stars are playing like stars. I don't want the game to come down to the officials missing obvious calls on one of those stars. Like, it's one thing to not notice Mike Gesicki getting held, and he got held multiple times throughout the game, and it wasn't called. But, okay, fine, it's Mike Gesicki. When Joe Burrow is getting hit and hit it with the game in the balance, it's insane. Also, the Marlon Humphrey play where he just crushes Joe, and Joe was clearly in pain afterwards. That play is unacceptable for it not to be called. And Joe said, I don't expect to get those calls. Well, you should. You should. It's BS that he's not getting those calls because he's at worst At worst, Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in football right now. At worst. And if he's second, then Lamar is first. Just to be very, very clear. Joe is playing at such a high level despite chaos around him. And so for him not to get those kind of calls that Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, insert whatever elite quarterback you want would get is unacceptable. And so the officials, this isn't even about the outcome. The Ravens could have won the game. You still need it shouldn't have ended that way. And so officials certainly on the loser list as well. Please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, join the Cincinnati Bengals Talk family. And I mentioned this on the live chat. I'm going to mention it here. I waited till the end of the video. You see this? This is Enter the Jungle. I'm signing these at Joseph Beth Booksellers on Saturday at 5 p.m. in Rookwood. Joseph Beth in Rookwood. I'll write that I'm blind, I'm deaf. I want to be a ref for Thursday Night Football. I'll write whatever you want in this. So we can make fun of the officials, can make fun of the lack of tackling, talk some Bengals. Join me, Joseph Beth, 5 p.m. Enter the Jungle. Perfect holiday gift for you and yours. I really appreciate you, Bengals fans, and we will see where the Bengals go from here. Still plenty of AFC playoff contenders on the schedule. Plenty of ways to get back in the wild card race, but I do think that the Bengals AFC North chances are officially over following that loss on Thursday night. Until next time, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.